welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. This week's guest is another one of my old friends and semi-old teammates. We've trained together for many years. He is the head coach and the owner of John Jacque Machado Academy here in Melbourne. He is promoting some upcoming seminars that are coming to his academy very soon. He's also my old teammate from Team Takedown and back in Absolute days. He is Ben Butler-Bonice. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. Pleasure.
Thanks for coming on, Ben. It's lovely to meet you, mate. Before we do go back to the start, can you run us through how you became affiliated with John Jacque Machado Jiu-Jitsu? Because I told the story. I kind of tell the same stories. I've only got a few probably, so everyone's sick of it maybe, but who knows? But I'll tell it again. So my teammate Ivan has rolled with John Jacque, and he goes, his jiu-jitsu was like invisible. He goes, it's the best jiu-jitsu I've ever felt. So you're in amazing hands with him. So how did you guys become affiliated? How did that work?
Yeah, so I started my jiu-jitsu in Bendigo with Stuart Molden at Stewie's house at BJJ. So, and that was back in 2008 or 9 around abouts. And it was through that I became affiliated with John Jacque. So Stewie used to be part of the affiliation as well. And that was since probably 2012, 13 or something roundabouts back then. And so obviously really strong relationship there. And I would have been, blue belt, purple belt back then or when that began. So, and then later on I moved down to Melbourne. And around 2016 or 17, Stewie started running some classes down in Fitzroy, and it kind of just went from there. So I just put my hand up. I want to volunteer to just take some classes, and I was happy to do that. And then, things changed, and Stewie couldn't do it anymore, so it was kind of handballed to me, and I just took it on like as a opportunity just to, I love coaching and always saw myself as, coaching one day. So just took it from there. And in 2018, we became officially JJ in Melbourne. And, it's just been going since then. So, it's been really good. And the affiliations, it's great the culture and the values they represent and how John Jacque is on the mat and the ideas he promotes, and and obviously the jiu-jitsu, but it's a great affiliation to be part of, and they're really supportive, and so onwards and upwards there. And to your comment about Ivan rolling with John Jacque, his jiu-jitsu it's pretty amazing. It's like one time I remember, it's like being stuck in mud, and you're sort of slowly moving, but you're not. He's not putting a whole lot of pressure down, but you're just moving at the pace he wants you to move at, and then all of a sudden you're getting choked, and it's like you didn't see it coming, and it's just like that. It's great, and you can't catch him. Like he's just like an empty jacket, and so it's an experience, and it's pretty awesome.
So you said you got started in Bendigo. Is that where your jiu-jitsu journey began? Tell us how you discovered jiu-jitsu, how you got started in it.
So I guess from a young age, I really I'd go to the video store, and I'd hire out all the, back when we had video stores, I'd hire out like all the old school martial arts like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Van Damme, and I'd just watch those as a teenager. But I never actually trained martial arts, so it wasn't until I was around 19, 20 I started training, and I would have started some Jeet Kune Do stuff, and that was overseas. traveling at the time, and then it progressed to some Muay Thai and amateur boxing, karate. So I kind of a couple of trips to Thailand, Muay Thai. So kind of tried a lot. And then found jiu-jitsu in Bendigo around 2008, and I don't know, jiu-jitsu is kind of different to the other arts. I love all the other arts, but it's just different, as you know, like the social aspect of it, the creativity, the endless kind of progress you can make. So just stuck with it. And back in Bendigo, like that was 2008. The jiu-jitsu we did back then, it was more of a valet tudo style jiu-jitsu. It was, there was strikes involved and that kind of stuff. It wasn't a sports orientated style as such. It was so a lot different training and some brutal sessions, but just loved it. Yeah, just love it. So yeah.
Kind of seems like the early days, and finding it in 2007, 2008 when you did, Ben, like that's still for Australia. That's still pretty early doors, right? So
Yeah.
it seems like the guests that we have on, the people we chat to, those early practitioners of jiu-jitsu, that's what they say. It was like, oh no, this is brutal. Like, it wasn't, hey, why don't you pull guard? This is a great scenario. Because if you did, you'd just get slapped. And, like that wasn't like, it wasn't really a thing back then, right? So did you find coming from, Muay Thai and boxing and those sorts of things that the, not violence of it, but that heavy-handedness perhaps, you weren't afraid of that. You were kind of like, oh, this is okay. But then the grappling side of it was the new learning for you.
I guess I don't know. I guess I wouldn't have known any different. I'm not like that's just what it was. It was just it was hard training and back then as well. Like it wasn't there wasn't a lot. I mean, I can't speak for other clubs, but as a beginner, it was like if you can't handle it, like that's it. Like just there wasn't a sort of a process as such to guide or nurture people into it. So I guess you just I don't know, you just did it.
You just suck it up.
Just suck it up, and then but it's changed over the years, which I think it's changed for the better, because a lot more people can access it and feel welcome to try it out and things like that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then Ben, fast forwarding to, as you said, when your professor or whatever you want to call him, transitioned, you took over the school there in Melbourne. So you said that was around Fitzroy. That was somewhere in the inner city area, around Abbotsford or somewhere like that you set up that academy. Is that right?
So initially we started with another place, Melbourne Budo Academy, and that was in Fitzroy. And then we moved over to Abbotsford in Hoddle Street.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, that's a fairly, like, all those inner city areas, there's quite a lot of jiu-jitsu there. Like how was that for you in terms of having a competitive edge, if you know what I mean? Because there are quite a lot of jiu-jitsu schools around by 2018, 2019. How did you find that as an academy owner, sort of starting off in a fairly heavily condensed area, I suppose?
It's a good question. I think in terms of it's definitely got the competitiveness in terms of location and a lot of big other schools. So around there you got Dominance in Abbotsford, who initially were in Richmond, then they moved into Abbotsford, which I mean it's not a great distance across there, and then you got Absolute MMA, and then you had George Soteropoulos as well, who's still down there. So, but I don't know. I guess you find your niche, and people gravitate towards your club or they gravitate to somewhere else, So I think there's plenty of people to go around to join clubs and things like that. So I think it was. I mean, wasn't a negative experience at all being around it, but it definitely part of the move. We just moved out to Heidelberg West was to be able to have a bigger space and better facilities, but also this area, it doesn't have as much competitiveness as such either. But as a school owner, I don't. It's not high on the list of concerns in terms of growing your school. I think you just got to focus on yourself and focus on your own culture and your own standards, and moving forward that way, as opposed to worrying about your competitors, and because everyone's going to choose what they like and things like that. And I think there's plenty to go around.
I think
Yeah.
that advice is probably pretty good for individuals as well doing jiu-jitsu, because I don't know about other people, but it's a pretty common thing that I've probably done, and I think other people do as well, is that you can't help but sometimes compare yourself to other people. And like you said, you just got to focus on yourself
Yeah,
and know that your journey is your own. And sometimes, you don't worry about what other people are doing and what they're
yeah,
about, because you're there for yourself.
yeah, 100%. But at the same time, that competitiveness can drive you as well. It can, a little bit of the right stress can push you in the right direction to improve, and as well. So with the individuals in jiu-jitsu also, like that's how your mat grows. You're competing against each other in a way, so you got to improve.
How do you find the benefits of being like a Jean Jacque gym to a gym that just has a name? For instance, I mean, obviously in Victoria, Dominance is a pretty big name and big gym and that sort of thing. But like a gym that is called X Gym or whatever it might be, and then you've got a branded name like John Jacque Machado. Do you find that's a benefit to you, or people starting jiu-jitsu kind of are like, "Ooh, I wonder if this John Jacque Machado runs this gym?" Like, is that the first person I'm going to meet when I walk in? Like, do you find any benefits from having the name?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I've had a lot of people visit because of the name. I've had one guy who's been on Joe Rogan podcast visit because of the name, which was
Wow, that's cool.
a fun experience. So definitely from people who know jiu-jitsu, who come from outside, know the name, come and visit the school. People who are looking to start, who might have watched. I've had people come and start jiu-jitsu because they've been watching Joe Rogan, or they've been listening to Jocko Willink, and they've come across the name, and then they Google the name, and then it's like, oh, there's a school here in Melbourne. So that's been a massive benefit too. People who are just watching jiu-jitsu, or because they're interested in it, might see it on YouTube and see a clip from John Jacque, and so that's happened as well. But also at the same time, people come in fresh and they don't have any idea who John Jacque is, and so it doesn't mean as much to them. They care, they probably care more about all the other things in particular to your gym. So it's a bit of both, but it definitely has helped, and proud to represent and be part of the affiliation too. And so
Can you tell us the name of the person who was on the Rogan podcast who came in?
his name was Peter Boghusian. I'm not sure if I've pronounced his name right, but interesting guy. He was a purple belt who trained at SBG, with Matt Thornton. So that was fun, and interesting guy. If you listen to his podcast, I think he does like street talk things and about touchy subjects, and so Yeah, but he was really cool. So that was
Yeah.
that was great.
Awesome. And Ben, you've got a few seminars coming up. Can you tell us and our listeners a bit about those, who they are, and how people can attend?
Yeah, sure. So we've got Jay Zeballos coming 1st of September. That's on a Monday night. And so Jay is one of the head instructors at John Jacque's HQ Academy in Los Angeles. And he's been training with John Jacque for somewhat of 28 years or something like that. And he'll be doing a gi seminar. So really looking forward to that. I think the last time he was in Melbourne was 2019, I think. So, but yeah, he's awesome, great dude, amazing jiu-jitsu, and so yeah, really looking forward to that. And anyone's welcome to attend that seminar. Yeah, I think there should be there's a link on our Instagram if anyone wanted to attend that. So that'll be a gi seminar. And about Jay, he's got an amazing half butterfly game, X guard, so he's and super smooth style, breaks it down awesome. So yeah, if you're interested in that, that'd be everyone's welcome, of course.
And he's only one
Um,
of 3 teachers at HQ, is that correct?
yeah, so there's John Jacque, Jay Zeballos, and Mark Armstrong are the
Yeah.
head instructors there.
Yeah.
And they have some assistant instructors as well.
Yeah.
As far as I know, but they're the main instructors there. So they're
Yeah, so
teaching full time.
you're learning from quality there for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure, yeah, yeah.
So that's
Um,
6:30 p.m. on Monday the 1st. Yeah, for
yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Yep. And the other?
And so September 12th, we've got Dean Lister coming for a no-gi leg lock seminar, which
This one I am crazy excited about, man.
yeah,
From when
yeah,
I probably the first 5 people I ever heard of in jiu-jitsu, Dean Lister was one of them. And
awesome.
I've messaged Dean. Well, I don't know if I've messaged, if it's a private message or if it's just been on a Facebook, an Instagram thread or something. And I've, kind of said to him, like, when are you coming to Melbourne? When are you coming to Melbourne? He's like, hey, man, like, bring me out. I'm like, yeah, I'm white belt here, bro. Like, that's not my wheelhouse. But I am super excited that Dean is coming out, and it's one that I'd really like to get along to.
Yeah, awesome. Yep, definitely. Yeah,
Tell us
definitely
about
come
it.
down. I remember I went to a Dean Lister seminar 2015 at Absolute in the city. So that was great. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how his leg lock game has evolved and what he's teaching now. So yes, really looking forward to that one. And yeah, anyone's welcome to please come down. It should be really good.
Yeah, that one's 6 p.m. And I've not been to any of his seminars, but I heard he's a super nice guy as well. Yeah,
Yep, yep,
yeah,
yeah, great. Yep.
yeah.
These will probably sell out. Like the some pretty big names that you are bringing out, Ben. So guys, don't wait until the last minute. Like, don't, if it's a Monday night on the 1st, don't wait till Sunday afternoon to book it. Like, book it early so Ben knows what's up. And Jay and Dean, coming out, like, show their support for these guys coming out, because I think it's awesome. So don't do the thing of like, I'm going to wait until the last minute. Like, book it when you can. It's important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not gonna, like this. These guys are high level guys,
For
so you
sure.
just going to be a great experience, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the Dean Lister one actually is, I think only about 10 tickets left.
Wow.
So
There you
so
go.
it's
Well, by the
so
time
you
we
want
have
to
this
get in
episode
quick.
out, it might be sold. Yeah,
Great.
maybe
Yes,
so. But
yes.
yeah,
So get in
yeah.
there.
That's actually going to be a huge weekend in Melbourne, because I think on that Saturday there's the gathering, which is the sort of Will Machado comp, and then the Sunday they've just rescheduled. There's a grappling industries, so
Ben's
any
going to
jiu-jitsu
sign Dean up.
people.
Ben's going to sign Dean up into his club, and like Dean's going to come along and compete for sure.
Yeah, so
That'd be
huge
cool.
weekend of grappling for people in Melbourne. Um, Something that we ask most of our guests, Ben, and sort of diverting a bit from you as a instructor and as a coach, is tell us about the day that you got your black belt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, sorry, Ben, just to jump in, give us your progression, because you've been in a couple of different gyms, right? So give us your progression and where you sort of got your belts and who from, and then like let us know about your black belt, because it's probably my favorite question of that we get to ask, because I love stories about the black belt day, but what about the other belts too, mate? So give us the full lead up for it.
All right. So I got all my belts from Stewie. So
Yep.
from white to black was Stewie.
Awesome.
And so yeah, although I was training, I was at Absolute MMA for a couple of years, but during that time I still was graded by Stewie,
Yeah.
which was an interesting thing for me, because I don't know if I'm a bit old school that way. This is what I wanted to do. Like I just thought, for me, like I wanted to go from white to black belt with the same instructor, because that was something I sort of valued. So I didn't sort of make the switch officially, but I mean, Absolute and Tiago was coaching there at the time. That was totally fine thing to do. Like it wasn't an issue. So yeah, I went from white belt to blue belt. That would have been in the Bendigo days. I can vividly remember the day I got my blue belt. Going back to the old school days, like it was a pretty brutal lineup of just Shark Tank and
What did you
oh
have to
man, like
do?
so it'd be normal training, and then you'd be out the front, and you'd have to roll with one person after the other in the line. So um but it was just like it was just going hard. Like you just had to survive. You just had to survive. And so I can still remember the feeling of just like lactic acid in, wanting to vomit after that. But it was great, man. Great experience. So I got my blue belt like that. And then purple belt was still in Bendigo, 2015. John Jacque would have been there at that time. No lineup on that one, but big seminar, and so that was cool. And then brown belt again was in Bendigo. We did that one as well, at another seminar type grading, and so purple belt for me was kind of back and forth from Melbourne and Bendigo. But really glad, like I maintained that relationship with the Bendigo crew, and who I still see to this day, who
Do you
are
mind?
all awesome. And
Can I interrupt to ask? So you moved from Bendigo to Melbourne for work? Is that the main reason? You mentioned earlier that you're a
uh,
physio as well.
yeah, no, that was for study. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So
so yeah, I did my physio degree at La Trobe.
okay.
Yep.
So
So I moved to Melbourne in 2012. And started my degree then. So after a bit of traveling overseas, and I've been traveled a lot actually in my early 20s. So which is a cool other story as well. But so yeah, well, as I was saying, brown belt, Bendigo, and yeah, just kept training. At that stage, I started coaching from a purple belt in Melbourne. So Yeah, and just the black belt came after actually. That was February 2021. So that was, right after the pandemic. I don't know what date we got out of lockdowns and that, but
I
that
think
was
we
that was a
still in
brutal.
Melbourne. We kept going back in
Yeah,
2021,
what
didn't we? It was
what
I
happened?
don't know. Those couple of years
Yeah,
are a blur to
we
me.
did. We did. We in May 21 we went back in to lockdown. But you still managed to train, and I did the whole online thing, managed to keep our group together, keep our community together, doing that for, I don't know how long we did that, man, but it was, looking back, that was brutal, but we just did it. You had the energy for it back then, because this was unprecedented. You had the energy for it. There's no way you'd put, I don't know what you'd do. Yeah, you'd have to maybe, but if we had to do that again, but yeah, so and that was a tough thing to get through, but came out the other end, and then Feb 21, I got my black belt. Yeah, so yeah, I guess it was it was a special night. Uh, just good training, everyone there, all my friends there, all our training partners, big crew from Bendigo come down. Um, and yeah, Stewie awarded the black belt, and yeah, just sort of laid it all out. It was pretty emotional. It's such a great journey, jiu-jitsu up to your black belt. You go through so many highs and lows and challenges and rewards, and uh yeah, when you reach that black belt, it's a pretty special moment, big achievement. You go through all those tough sessions over the years, and people go through hard times in their lives or injuries, or so it's a battle to get there, but for most people, I think. But um yeah, my parents were there, um so yeah, it was just a special night, man. Yeah, it was
How
great.
far out from that day, or how far out from that night, did you know that you were getting your black belt? Did you have a month's notice, a week's notice? Because obviously to organize everyone to come down for it, like there's obviously a little bit of notice that needs to be given. So how much, like, when did you kind of know that it was going to happen?
I didn't actually know for sure.
Right.
I might have had a feeling,
Yeah.
but it was yeah, they'd organised it, so I wasn't
Oh,
like,
so
Ben,
they
you get your black.
contacted the people for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we organised a seminar, training, meet up. That's all I
Yeah.
knew. So,
That's cool.
but I mean, I had a sense of it, but didn't know for sure. But when everyone starts rolling up, you're like, all right, something going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, man.
That's
Yeah.
cool. And you mentioned injuries. Tell us about what injuries have you had? Have you had many? Like, you're also a physio, so at the same time, can you kind of manage your own injuries because of that, or how does that go?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I haven't had um serious, I haven't had serious knee injuries, like, serious joint injuries or anything like that. But I've been through a few bad neck injuries. Like, there was a couple of years ago, I had a couple of injuries to the same area, like back to back within a few months, and that ever since then, yeah, I've been on and off with nerve pain down my arm and that kind of stuff, which isn't fun, but it's okay at the moment. But it's always something I've got to manage and just be aware of. Um, when you're rolling, and you got to make wise choices sometimes about, am I going to go for this move, or is this the right time to have my neck or head in that position? Because you just don't. Or can you trust your training partner that if they grab onto your head and neck, are they going to hurt you, or not deliberately, but
Yeah.
take care of you? So that's something I've got to manage pretty constantly. But yeah, as a physio, you definitely have the skills and knowledge to sort of, or just the understanding that, you know, injuries heal. You're going to be okay. You know, if you tear a ligament or something like that, you do the rehab, you go through the process, and you get back out there and you keep going. And so it definitely helps having a background knowledge like that. But it helps with the fear aspect of it as well. Like some people might really fear getting injured, or they get injured and they don't understand the process or what's going to happen. They you know, might think they have to quit, or they can never do it again, or what's going to happen, you know, and they're legitimate concerns. So that helps as well. But yeah, you know, I see a lot of injuries too with jiu-jitsu, and see a lot of people who do jiu-jitsu. It definitely helps knowing jiu-jitsu, treating someone who does jiu-jitsu as well.
Just on that, I feel like, do you have any advice for our listeners? I feel like rather than people thinking they're never going to train again, would you say that it's more the other way around? I feel like people in jiu-jitsu just keep on training through their injuries and don't tend to kind of seek that professional advice enough. What sort of advice would you give to our listeners around that sort of thing in injuries as a physio?
You definitely got to take care of your body, right? Like anything supplementary you can do, like weight training, yoga, you know, stretching, mobility, anything that's going to increase your muscle strength and your flexibility is going to help, you know, maintain a healthy body and deal with pain. Like if you know, with jiu-jitsu, you're going to be aching, you're going to be sore. If you can get some regular rehab maintenance in your day or in the week, to support your muscles and your joints, like it's absolutely going to help, like prevent injury and improve your performance, or your rolling and your training frequency as well. But the other part of that is training intelligently. Like if you're just going hard every day, and you might be able to do that early in your life, but if you're going hard every day, like it's going to take a toll on your body. So you got to manage your program a bit too, depending on how much you're training.
So what would that
Yeah.
look like, Ben? Say someone, just a hobbyist, let's say they train 3 or 4 times a week jiu-jitsu. What sort of thing would you suggest for them outside of that to maximize their return in jiu-jitsu and maximize their, you know, output, and they're not as likely to get injured? What sort of things can they be doing?
For a hobbyist who's training 2 or 3 times a week, depending on the person, depending on how hard they're training, like everyone's a bit different. Someone like that might not have to do anything. Like jiu-jitsu might be giving them everything they need, actually, like, and they're in a training environment where they're not getting smashed, or they're not overdoing it themselves, you know, they're not trying to win every round, like in a mad scramble. So someone might not need extra. You'd have to look at the individual, but definitely as a baseline, definitely as a basic, doing some kind of basic strength training program twice a week for 45 minutes. Just has to be basic things. It's just gonna definitely help build your strength and support your body for sure. Yeah. And some recovery, but recovery can mean lots of things too, like good sleep. You need good sleep as a basic. You know, if you're not getting enough sleep and you're training hard, you're gonna eventually get something. If you're not going to be recovering enough. And I think the statistics on that are pretty clear in terms of the rate of injury compared to how much sleep you're getting for athletes. So that's something you need to do, or need to get right for sure as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome advice. And I think For me, I know lifting is important, and I'm trying to do more of it. Link, you're probably listening, so I'm trying to do more Link. And I think with anything, jiu-jitsu is in my diary, and it's more or less it's a non-negotiable. And I think for lifting or for yoga class or for stretching or whatever it might be, like literally having it in your diary as opposed to, oh, yeah, I'll do that Thursday. Like put it in your diary so it's actually in there, and then you're prioritizing time to be able to go and do that. I think is really important. And I think for me, when I first started to get told, like, hey, I think you should lift, it'll be really good for you. In my head, I'm like, well, I don't have 4 or 5 days a week, every week that I can lift, and not sort of realizing, hey, like you can do 2 sessions a week with lifting, and that's going to be good for you. You'll get stronger, you'll maintain flexibility and strength and those sorts of things. So I think the aspect of lifting doesn't have to be 4 or 5 times because you're trying to get huge, but building some level of strength, right? And you can do that, as you say, twice a week, 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, definitely. And it can be basic stuff. It can be basic, just could be body weight stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily be doing deadlifts and barbell squats and things like that either. So
Yeah.
you can, and get some professional advice from someone you trust and is experienced in the area too. That goes a long way also, because it just gets you started on the right way.
Yeah, I always encourage, females and especially smaller people. I think also as we start to get older, it is that bit more important to really protect your joints. And sometimes, like you said, Ben, if you've got some professional advice, you don't even necessarily need another gym membership. You can set yourself up at home with maybe a couple of kettlebells and some bands and things like that. You don't need a full gym to actually do enough to sort of keep yourself healthy for jiu-jitsu. I think that's a bit of can sometimes be a barrier as well. People think, oh, they have to join a whole separate gym just to do their weight training. I disagree. I think that you can, especially online, there's quite a lot of stuff you can buy to set yourself up. Even in the corner of your lounge room, you can have a little bit of a setup there that is enough to keep you going.
Yep. No, definitely. Yep.
Can I ask you some strength-based questions, Ben? I don't know how. I'm sure you've qualified to answer them, so I don't want to say that. But just really quickly, so one of the things for me that I was doing a few years ago, I think this was kind of in and around that COVID time, I was doing the push-up challenge, and it was, I can't remember, 3,046 push-ups or whatever for 20 days, or I can't quite remember the numbers.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, right? Yeah. But like it starts off and like the first day it was 109, and then the next day is 142, and then the next day it's 130, and then the next day it's, whatever it is, and then it sort of just goes up through the day. But there's no way for me at that time, even now, that I could just get down and do 109 push-ups in a row, right? So what I did was I just broke them up into like sets of 10, and I might do 10, 10, and 10, first thing when I got up in the morning. And then after I'd finished my morning coffee, I'd do another 20. Now I've done 50, so I'm halfway there. So I'd sort of just tick them off throughout the day. And I felt like I definitely got stronger, and my body shape absolutely changed, by the end of that 20 odd days. And my thought process was, at the time, one of my mates is a bricklayer, and the guy is he's so strong. He's never been to a gym in his life. And at the time, I'm like, yeah, but he just lifts the same weight every day, like all day, every day. And look at the size of him. So it's not necessarily about, oh, I have to put 45 minutes of a chunk of a day aside. Do you think it's feasible to sit there and maybe you're just going to do 100 squats in the morning, and then, you're going to do 100 push-ups throughout the rest of the day, or whatever it might be? Do you feel that that's feasible to build some level of strength?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really interesting point you make also about your tradie mate. The key thing is they're doing something over the whole course of the day. And if you heard the term farmer's strength,
Yeah.
like farmer's strength, they're doing lifting, manual hand, like all
And some
day.
of
They're
us have
lifting
rolled
bay
with people
hales.
that have that farmer strength. Hey, they're the
Yeah,
worst, man. You can't do
I'll,
nothing
yeah.
with those
They
people.
got like
I'll
these
tell you. I'll
hands
tell you
like
a really.
vices.
I'll tell you a really quick story about this guy, right? So his name's Brett. So Bretty was over at our place. We had like a pull-up bar, and this is years ago. We were just having a couple of drinks, and one of our mates was there, and he's a gym junkie. Goes to the gym all the time. He's really well built. So he's like, oh, I wonder how many pull-ups I can do. So he punches out like 23 pull-ups, and Brett's like, huh, I wonder how many I can do. So Brett walks over to this pull-up bar and does like 36 like pull-ups in a row, and his wife is sitting behind him going, "Oh my God, you look amazing!" Never seen him do it. He's never done. He doesn't go to a gym, but like just that, that farmer strength or that tradie strength or the brickie
Mm.
strength, just those sorts of things. And I'm like, it's quite an interesting concept, right? So
Yeah, it's a real thing, man. Like, I recently saw a clip of Pavel Sutherland. Have you heard of him?
yeah, the
He was
kettlebell
on,
guy.
It's the
he was
kettlebell.
on, yeah, he was on Andrew Huberman, and
Yep.
he talked about this term he calls greasing the groove, and he talks about a similar training method, um, where you're not actually going to max in a session or getting fatigued as you can in a session. Let's say you're doing bench press or whatever. But he talks about building that neural connection between your muscles and your brain on a regular basis throughout a period of time, with the right resistance, and that can really build strength. So I think this is what's happening with like tradies and farmers, and that they're doing consistently lifting heavy things throughout the day, but it's not actually a max lift or a session where they're absolutely cooked and they're struggling to walk the next day because they've done a leg day kind of thing. So, but they're consistently like lifting heavy throughout the day, and that's what's getting them so strong. So if you could replicate that in your training, in your strength training, I mean, that'd be um, it's possibly some way to get that tradie strength. Me and my mates call it tradie talk.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to get tradie talk unless you're a tradie. But I rolled with a plumber the other day, and he was just brutal, just
Pretty
brutal.
cool.
And yeah, so I didn't want him. I'm like, get your hands off me because
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this, man. So
Yeah.
yeah,
As
so
soon as they
it's
get that
interesting.
grip, you're like, oh
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, that is also very good, especially for people, office workers who, when they work from home, I must say, when I was trying to do my rehab when I was back in the office, it was quite unusual if, I had to get down and do my push-ups next to the photocopier. That was a little bit frowned upon in some offices. But yeah, if you're working from home, that sort of stuff is much easier, much easier to do. We are nearly out of time, Ben. Thank you so much for giving up your time. You're a very busy man, and we really
No,
appreciate
thank you. Really appreciate it.
how quick
Yeah.
you've jumped on. We've just got a couple of little pop quiz questions that we throw in at the end now. So Brentos is gonna hit
All
you with
right,
these.
let's do this, Ben. iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
All right, strength or flexibility?
Both.
Spoken like a true physio. Pasta or rice?
Oh, pasta
Yes. Guard pull or
when I'm eating
takedown?
carbs. Oh, I don't know, man. Guard pull these days.
Oh, you've changed, Ben. You've changed.
I've changed. Yeah, yeah, that's it. I used to
Uh,
wrestle, but shit.
steak or chicken?
Steak.
What is your favorite belt that you've had?
Favorite belt. It's been black belt. I've
Yep,
learnt, and there's in the last 4 years, I've learnt more than I've ever learnt.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We used to never get that answer, and now the last couple of guests, everyone's saying the black belt again now. Yeah.
They're all teasing me, Kim. I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. They're all
It
teasing
used to
me.
be purple.
Yeah,
Now,
and I can
no longer.
associate with that. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
surprise. Now it's like black. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Ben, are there any moves or positions that you don't like or don't think work?
That's an interesting question. Moves or positions that I don't dislike any position. I like gi, no gi. I like it all. Wrestling. What doesn't work? I don't know, man. It all works if you do it right and at the right time.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. That's cool. All right, I've got two more. Number one, first one, can you drive a manual car?
Yep, I grew up in the country,
I was
so
just going to say that. You're a
100%.
country boy, mate. You know what's up. I can
Yeah.
drive a tractor, or I can drive. And the last one, mate, this will brand you as a man. Do you wear Crocs?
Yes, I have Crocs.
Do you wear them?
Occasionally,
Outside
yeah,
of
I
the
wear them.
house.
Outside of the house, if I'm going down to the servo, yeah, I'll wear my Crocs.
There you go. All right, mate, you're a black belt. I can't judge you.
Yeah.
I will give you 1 out of 2 for the big answers.
And he's a dad as well, so I think he's able to be
Yeah.
excused for the any
Yeah.
fashion mistakes. We can always excuse as a father. Yes, yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Ben,
Yeah,
that's awesome, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. We've really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit. Kim, have you got those dates there again?
yeah.
It's the
So
1st of
yeah, it's
September.
1st of September. Jay Zeballos seminar 6:30, and Dean Lister, if the tickets are still available, which is Friday the 12th of September at 6 p.m. We'll put the links on this episode when it comes out, but by that time it may be all sold out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
Dean Lister, we will be overseas. We'll be still in the States after World Masters for the first, but I'll hope
Awesome.
to get along to the Dean Lister one. We'll see what we can do there.
Great.
Guys, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Roll or Die. Please remember to like, rate, and share the podcast as much as you can. It helps us grow our audience. It helps us reach more people, and we get more friends from it, which we really like. We like that part of it. Ben, thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank
Mate,
you.
you are super welcome. You're welcome back anytime. If you want to jump on, if you've got other things coming up,
Awesome.
then let us know. We're happy to
Great.
promote it, mate. You're doing an amazing job, and keep bringing these big superstars out, and we'll keep supporting you and getting along to the seminars that you put on.
Great. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
That's
See
it.
ya.
Peace out.
Bye. Bye.